Hey guys, Old Guy Gaming here, and we're back again with another retro game review with Atari's 2600 version of Phoenix. This one comes directly as a request from the Atari Age Facebook page and I hope I get your name correctly, good sir. Benzo Silvestri had recommended, I had just done a review for Haunted House, and he's like, oh, that's not my kind of game. My kind of games are shooters. I'm like, well, give me your favorite. If I've got it, I'll review it. And it is Phoenix for the Atari 2600. So Benzo, this one goes out directly to you for you. So Phoenix is an outer space themed fixed shooter developed by Armstar Electronics, located in Phoenix, Arizona, of all places. Interesting enough, it was a stand-up arcade which was developed in 1980 and then was reported over to the 2600 in 1982. This game had a lot of things that other games like it didn't. So, for example, I know I'm going to draw this comparison a lot in a lot of the shooter games from the 2600 era, but it's a very Space Invaders-like game in that the enemies are on the top and you're on the bottom, and you're sliding left and right, and you're shooting up and they're shooting down. A lot of the games followed that same formula. This one was really kind of unique, though. It kind of had its own look and feel for how this one played. More like a cross between Galaga and Space Invaders. You had two different levels per different enemies. So your first level, you'd have these smaller birds, and there was like 6 or 8 of them on the board, and you went through 2 levels of those. And then the next level, you had these bigger birds, and you had blue ones and red ones, and you could blow off the wings on the individual ones, and you could blow off both wings, and somehow it would still manage to be in the air. I don't know how you blew off one wing, it still managed to be in the air. Long story short, if you blew off both wings of a particular larger bird and you didn't kill it, the wings would grow back and they'd continue to shoot at you and undulating up and down on the board trying to kill you. And it was one of the first games to ever have a quote-unquote final boss, in that there is a mothership at the end of the fifth board that you have to contend with. So each one of those levels have their own feel. Like, you attack the first 2 levels very differently than you attack levels 3 and 4, and very differently than you attack level 5. So very unique gameplay, very unique game, a lot of fun, a lot of replayability in this one. Really did enjoy this one. So there's a couple of things of note real quick. First and foremost, this is the first, we mentioned the fact it was the first one or the end one, but there was also a lawsuit over this game. So Atari ended up suing iMagic in 1983 over iMagic's release of Demon Attack for how similar the two games were. Now, I find that particularly ironic considering how similar both games are to what Space Invaders had laid down on the groundwork for before. So it kind of falls into that whole same thing, like, to bring it up to modern terms in December of 2019 of, it's one of those games that's like Fortnite. It's the other one that came out before Fortnite, suing them for stealing idea. Like, you guys laid down this whole, battle royale idea. I get that, but it's a game idea that is going to be copied and borrowed. So it's interesting to me that Atari, who had taken a game that really was almost a clone of Space Invaders, took their own twist to it, added some cool stuff, I'm not going to lie, really cool stuff, but then wanted to sue another developer for doing what they did. I don't know, it's weird. And the other thing of note is, in a lot of the Atari games of the era, they came with comic books that included the story. So I do not own the comic book, I just have the loose cart, but someday I think I would like to get that just to read it, because I think it would be fun. But I do want to go in and share some of the story real quick that did come in the manual. And of course, I'm on Atari Age's site for the manual, so you kind of need to wrap your head around the story of why you're shooting birds. So indulge me here for a moment. In ancient time, legend says there was a bird of great beauty, about the size of an eagle. It had brilliant scarlet and gold feathers. Melanious song? That's a good word. I've never seen that word before. Melanious. I think it's more like Melanie. Ugh, sorry. And was one of the only kind in its world. This fabulous creature lived in Albia and has a lifespan of over 500 years. At the end of its life, a phoenix built a nest of frankincense, myrrh, and other aromatic spice. Okay, they're spices from Egypt. Got it. And after setting fire to the nest and rapidly beating its wings, the beautiful bird settled down to die amongst the flames. From the ashes of that miraculous arose a young Rivalus phoenix, a new phoenix. A new bird then took the remains of their parents to the temple of the son of Herlopus in Egypt and sacrificed them on a high altar. The long life of the phoenix and the dramatic rebirth from its own ashes has made this legendary bird a symbol of immortality and spirituality and rebirth in many cultures. The Egyptians saw this myth as a symbol of life, of a life cycle of the sun, which dies every day at sunset and was reborn in the morning. Most others interpret the legend as a general symbolism for regeneration and life after death. So the story could have stopped there. However, it doesn't. It gets interesting. However, something awful has happened to tarnish the long-standing image of the phoenix. Due to the effects of the radioactive fallout on its nest, the phoenix has unfortunately mutated into a bird of prey. Now, several birds arise from the ashes, but these are not like the beautiful, friendly birds of old. These birds are mean. Their cries are shrills. They have developed tough, metallic-like skin that makes them almost indestructible, and they have turned their backs on the human race to offer their services to an alien being determined to drain away Earth's energy resources. Your mission? Eliminating these seamlessly immortal warhawks, destroy the alien spaceship, and safeguard our planet from our ravaging space energy thieves. Interesting story. So basically meaning that some radioactivity interrupted the life cycle of a phoenix and moved on to create these horrible, vicious birds that are trying to kill you. So, cool story. I want to read the comic book itself to really dive into the story, just to kind of get an idea for it. Something else of note with this particular game, there's one version. That's it. The difficulty switch and the select switch do nothing in this game. So Phoenix is just Phoenix. There are no other versions of this game. So when we start looking at Twin Galaxies and some of the records, it is strictly on the only version of the game that ever came out on the console. A very familiar name is going to be at the top of this list on Twin Galaxies for the NTSC, Paul Zimmerman with 14,440 points. The very next person to him has 1.4 million. So Paul must be an amazing Phoenix player. I would love to see that. Other scores, they do count emulation scores as well, and Garrett C. Holland holds the record for that for emulation at 373,690 points. His next competitor is at 251,000. There is they do this one as well because of how long the game can run. They do it in 15-minute timelines, and Garrett C. Holland holds that record over Paul Zimmerman. Ooh, I see a rivalry here for Phoenix at 187,340 points. And then last but not least, we have our pal friends, John M. Breezy, has 16,970 points. Darn it, I'm telling you, this is another one of those games where I'm like, the next person has 3,920 points. I think I genuinely set that in the gameplay that you're seeing up here. I think I genuinely do that on that. And I'm like, well, darn it, I should just get a PAL version and start setting some of these records. And there is no PAL 15-minute record, so I feel like I could just record myself playing for 15 minutes and boom, I've got the record. If I live for 15 minutes, I win. So I think I might have to go out and do that just for giggles. I've never submitted scores to Twin Galaxies before, but I'm kind of curious to see what would happen on that one. So, all right. So that is the overall story of Phoenix. We're going to go ahead and move on to the actual gameplay of me playing this game right now. Okay, so here we are into the actual gameplay of Phoenix for the Atari 2600. This is a cool game. I really enjoy this one. So, this is the first level. We have the first level birds. These are the easy guys, supposedly. Like any of the space shooters you're going to get, you got to watch them whenever they're low and make sure that you're not hitting them. So the first level, relatively simple. This one does have the same problem where you have to wait till the bullet gets all the way to the top before you're allowed to shoot again. The upside, of course, is that the bullets themselves are relatively quick. See, there we go, first two levels. Where I start struggling is here. Stupid birds. Oh my goodness, because they have one that's like right on top of you, right off the bat. And he is a nutcase, because I can never take... There we go, got him. And then they start swooping down at you. Really cool, like, cool level of the birds. Like, they've got legs, they've got wings, you can blow the wings off, like I just did that one. That's cool. This is a cool game. Ah! Oh, I always forget that I have the shields until I'm sitting there thinking about after, like, oh, I could have totally shielded my way through that. It's getting to the main boss. That's the fun part. So we'll go ahead and kill that bird. Again, how does a bird fly with just one wing? I don't understand it. These must be hecka powerful phoenixes. I got that one. And Come on, you know you want to. Oh, knocked a wing off. How is that little stub just no legs, no arms, just kind of like chilling out in the air? Now, I see the little bit of flickering as you start getting down into the, and we start entering in the same area, but we're fine. Alright, so here he is, the main boss. You gotta watch. You want to try to just fire up the middle and clear up as much of that as possible. Watch out for his bullets. And once you have that clear, you can go to the end over here where the bullets don't show and just blow all of his shields away. This reminds me a little bit of Yar's Revenge. And once you get to this point, hold the shields and beat the boss. See how easy that is? It's super easy. I feel like he is easier than the birds. Oh, and then I open my mouth and I die. That's how that works. Ah, no! See, I remembered I had shields that time. There we go. I think there's a limit to the number of shields. I'll have to get into the manual a bit and see if there is a limit. I know you just can't continuously do shields. I don't know if there's a cost. You have to build up a certain number of points before you're allowed to do it again. And again, here we are into the bird level. Well, they're all birds, but... Ooh, boy, did I get lucky on that. Oh. Now, this is one of the rare instances where I think I will say that playing this on a D-pad as opposed to a joystick... Oh, he sat on me. You bird. There's one of the rare instances where playing this on a D-pad is easier than it is playing on a joystick. Rare instance where I'll say that on a 2600 game. Ooh, boy, did I get lucky on that, too. Ah. I think I just hit the power record, by the way. I think I mentioned it in the, So, I think I mentioned it in the playthrough, too. Like, here we go. But concentrate. We must concentrate. It is the main boss. Always thought this was cool that this game did this. Trying to get over there to get him. Alright, so, oh, of course. And he doesn't start back up from the top. He starts right where he is. So, you need to work your way over... If I'm giving away the secrets of how to beat Phoenix, here it is. Once you've cleared enough space around... Oh! You gotta watch the bullets. Oh, so frustrating. Alright, we'll give it a couple more tries. This game is relatively quick. So the fact that someone got 4 million points on this, like, holy cow. I want to see that. What, like, there's gotta be a pattern, or he's just really good with his reflexes. Because, like, some of this stuff just comes out of nowhere. As the bird's dive bombing you, it spits out a bullet at the same time. So like I said, this is where this like very Galaga-like, Space Invaders-like look kind of comes in. Like there are a lot of games on the 2600 that did this, because oh boy did they love their space games. Everything happened in space. Now, I guess it was the 70s. Space Shuttle program was just getting its, up and running. You had the moon landing in 69. You had all that fun stuff going on, so... Maybe that's why space games were very popular back in those days? I don't know. But everything was in space. Come on, get that last one. The little nub that's still flying. Boy, did he regenerate quick. Yeah, a little bit of flickering there towards the end whenever you guys are kind of in the same scan line, but... it's acceptable. It is a 2600 title. Come on, you bird. How many times... Come on, I feel like I've blown off like 7 wings off this bird. Oh. And this is where the frustration level for this on this game, because it's so frustrating. Like, all right, there we go, finally got him. I feel like I'm hitting where I'm supposed to be. Like I'll randomly shoot and kill 3 birds like that, and I can't kill one that I'm aiming at. Oh, rammed right into me. All right, Mr. Spaceman, you're not taking my planet's resources. We're taking you down. I always thought the alien looked like one of the aliens from Space Invaders too. Like sort of semi. Come on. The upside is the closer he gets to the bottom, the more... Oh, there it went again. I get the same thing, like I do it just fine, and that, yeah, there it goes. The computer does it, in the demo mode he does it for me. Alright, so we'll get one more round of this and then we'll call it. Fun game. Benzo, this was awesome. I've forgotten how much I love it. And so again, so does this rank as one of the top shooters, if not the top shooter on the console? I know a lot of people put River Raid pretty high. I don't know that I would count River Raid the same way though. Like River Raid's more of a scrolling kind of thing, whereas this is like the top-down space shooter kind of thing. I can't think of another one. I mean, Space Invaders is iconic, and I can't wait to review that game. I'm holding off on that one because I mean, how do you review an iconic game like that and not like rank it super high? Because it is. I mean, that game basically put the Atari on the map, but this one, so much better. Oh, because it's not the same aliens every time. There's some variety. Like, there's some skill to this. There's the... Oh! Super level of frustrating. The one thing I will say, though, that this has over Space Invaders, like Space Invaders, if they got to the end, the game was over. It didn't matter how many lives you had. They got to the bottom, the game was over. Whereas if you die, you just lose a life and they start back at the top and work their way down to attack you again. So I'll give it that. Again, how does a bird fly with one wing? Ooh. Hey, earned myself a life. And now the boss. You are not taking my planet's resources. No, sirree. Oh, alright, so we cleared it out. That's always the catch, is trying to get in there to dodge them bullets to get in there and kill them. But I'll see if I can do it one more time. And I think we've cleared out enough. There it is. Got him. And then right back into the action. There's no break. There's no enjoying that moment of killing the boss. Nope. Right back into more fleets of killer phoenixes with metallic skin. I wonder where that comes from. So, like, there's that whole part for... Well, if they have metallic skin, how... Like, where is that represented in the game? I don't think it does. Like, they just die with one shot, like everything, just like you do. And these things do not look metallic at all. These look very organic. I mean, because they're growing wings. Are they growing metallic wings? Ooh, there we go. Got a couple of good ones. There's a good one. And the nub. Oh. Got him. 2 lives to go. I'm going to spend more time with it. Whenever I'm done recording all this, I'm going to spend more time playing this just because it's such a fun game and everyone's asleep. So, nobody can stop me. Woohoo! Alright, come on, birds. I feel like I've lost my pattern. Like, they had a pattern, now I've just got a bunch of nubs up there. I do think that they regrow faster the less birds on the field. Because that one took a while to grow back his wings. Walk into this one. Come on. Let's get one more kill of the boss. I'm actually doing pretty well on this one. I don't want to kind of let go on this. Alright, here we go. Final boss time. Alright, no. No, you are not going to do that. No, sirree. Alright, oh, you almost got me there. Alright, we'll blow off all of his shields. 4 million points. How? Boom! 4 million points. Some of these guys have got, like, some serious dedication to these games. I don't know how you get that good that you're pulling... Like, we've gone through, what, two bosses. We're at 12,000 points. I have to do some math, like how many times he would have gotten to the final boss. How many times does that equal getting to the final boss at 4 million points? That's insane to me. Alright. Come on, birds. Oh, I thought... I had literally just, like... I was like, oh, I got past it on the left side, and I was like, whew, that was close. No! Oh, alright. Thank you, Phoenix, for a lot of fun. Alright, so that's going to do it for the gameplay. We're going to go ahead and close out the review right after this. Alright, so that was me playing some Phoenix. Fun game. Totally can understand why this one was recommended to me. Because it's a really good game. So let's kind of go into the scores that we have above here. Graphics, I've got to give it a 3.5. Really interesting because there's multiple different sprites that are involved in this one. We've got not only the birds that are on levels 1 and 2. Admittedly, the birds on 3 and 4 are palette swaps for just different colors, but still different sprites than what you saw on levels 1 and 2. Really cool idea about being able to blow the wings off and that kind of thing. And then, of course, on the 5th level, you've got the end boss at the end, which is completely different on how it works. You do still have the bars, and your little ship kind of looks like a stick person, but beyond all of that, I mean, overall, really good. Sound, I'm also going to have to give it a 3.5 as well. I know that there are some people that find the bird sounds annoying because there's no background music at all, and you're not going to find that a lot in Atari 2600 games, period. So the birds are just constantly this constant drone, but I don't think it's that bad, to be honest with you. And it does shift whenever you shift from one bird to the other bird to the mothership. So very good use of the Atari sounds that came out of that. You know, laser blasts sound like laser blasts, explosions sound like explosions. You get the nice, really awesome looking explosion whenever you kill the mothership. So sound and graphics, both 3.5s, really high up on on my scale on this one. Gameplay, I'm going to give this a 4.5. That's such a tight game. So cool. Everything plays the way that you expect it to. Again, Space Invaders is going to get something very, very similar. One thing I think I may have missed noting in the original review, and I know I did it in the gameplay because that's how you beat. It's the easy way to beat the boss. This game had shields, so you had the ability to pull back on the joystick to be able to get shields. So if you know you're in a tight situation, you're going to get shot, just pull back on that joystick. Now there is a catch in the fact that you can't move. But for the brief moment, brief of a moment, you're going to have some shields. Overall gameplay, 4.5. Fun level, equally as good. I'm going to give that one a 4. I think there are games that are a little bit more fun than this one. This game gets a little bit frustrating at times, but I don't think that's any ding on it. So I'm going to keep that at a solid 4 for the fun factor. And the replayability on this one, absolutely a 4.5. You can play this, again, like many Atari games, this is an arcade port, so the objective is to beat the high score. It is not to beat the game. There's no way to do it. It just keeps going in an endless loop. So making that replayability is super high on my level. Very cool game. Really enjoyed it. Going to give it an overall score of a 4.0. Great game. Probably one of the top 25 titles on the console. I'm going to have to find out as we get closer to the end of reviewing my top 150 games. The 150 games I'm pulling from the Atari 2600 to review. Overall, really cool game. Really enjoyed it. Benzo, I do want to thank you for that one. It had been a while since I played it. It was obviously in my collection, just hadn't pulled it out and played it, other than to make sure that the ROM checked. But as I've done my research for doing this video, had a ton of fun playing it and really enjoyed it. So that's going to do it for Phoenix for the 2600. Let me know if there is a game that you would like to review and I have it or don't own it and I can go get it. Let me know in the comments down below. It'd be super helpful. Like and subscribe while you're there. It's super helpful to the channel and trying to grow this. I'm super excited at all the messages I've already gotten from those folks from the Atari Age forums and the Facebook page. Really enjoying this and beginning to have a ton of fun reviewing some old retro games. So again, do hope you like the video, like, subscribe, all that, YouTuber fun stuff. And until next time, guys, always keep your cards clean.